Good Friday evening, and thank you all for being a part of the program. It is Friday. Yes, that's a good thing. Always a great way to start a show. It's also going to be a bit of a recap from yesterday. We had some technical issues that I've gotten ironed out today, and we will incorporate, of course, more information on last night's report about the significant drug arrest, largely due to the help and assistance of the new Magawa County Sheriff K-9, Nitra. I'll have more on the arrest as well, more on an auto accident last night, or early this morning, I should say, this Friday morning, that ejected a man from his pickup truck, and we'll update some other things as well, community calendar, several very special birthdays I hope that you will share in passing along with me tonight, and a host of other news and information. So again, due to some technical issues that we've worked out, we're going to just, again, recap some of last night's program with portions of tonight's show pulled from last night's program, and then, of course, some new news in between, including an updated weather forecast for your weekend, your Super Bowl weekend, mind you, and your pre-Valentine's Day weekend, a reminder as well. So with that said, let's go straight to headlines, and I'll pick it up where I did early on in the show last night, leading into several local reports. And with that said, I just wanted to make mention that a couple of things real quickly we'll just touch on from last night's program, that the name was officially released, as I told you last night, of the man that was killed in the crash in Lawrence County day before yesterday as a 49-year-old James Neal Cisco. I still don't have an official press release from the Kentucky State Police who are handling the accident, but as I understand, his vehicle crossed the center line and collided with a semi-tractor trailer head-on that was traveling in the opposite direction. Cisco was an employee at the East Kentucky Rehab Center, and funeral services have now been set for him at, as I understand, Phelps and Son Funeral Home, with the 49-year-old to be laid to rest following visitation, which will be tomorrow from 1 till 9, Saturday 9 until 3, services starting at 3 again from the Phelps and Son Funeral Home. A couple of bills in our state's legislature to discuss. One that I spoke of yesterday as well, that being Senate Bill 4, which would limit the number of sick days for Kentucky teachers, which of course is, I want to say, sometimes referred to as part of their retirement, allowed to be built up and rolled over as such. And there's now some consideration from some in the legislature. A Senate panel on Wednesday voted to limit those number of sick days to 10 per year that can be accumulated. It passed 8-3 and was going on to the Senate floor. While today it was discussion of Senate Bill 20, which would up the punishment for some offenders who are arrested in Kentucky. It passed out of committee today. There were some against. The Republicans noted, largely due to one of the facets related to juveniles as it was pertained. Portions of Senate Bill 20 would make it so that juveniles 15 years of age or older charged with a felony involving a gun would be tried as an adult. It would also lengthen the amount of time that some offenders would have to serve before they were to receive parole. Nevertheless, it did pass and is now headed to the full Senate for a vote and consideration there. Well, we got to see the new Magawa County Sheriff Deputy in photograph form here a few weeks ago. That was a picture of Nitra, the new K-9 unit, and her K-9 officer, Donovan Watson. Since I showed you that picture, he has since gone to Louisiana with his new fellow officer. They have returned, and as of last night, they have already proved very effective for the Magawa County Sheriff's Department, and we'll meet Nitra officially in just a second, right after these messages.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small-town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
You've seen the forecast, right? You know what season it is, so it is time to get ready. With New Year deals that are worth up to $200 off a new set of tires, and get your car running like new with only a $35 state-of-the-art computer diagnosis, and save all the payments for later with 6 months same as cash at Conley Tire and ConleyTire.net. Undergoing extensive training for most all of Nitra's life, she is the K-9 unit now, a part of the Magafa County Sheriff's Department, a cost of somewhere in the neighborhood of $35,000, largely funded by grant funds, but I think $8,000 or $9,000 or so had to be paid on behalf of the Magafa County Sheriff's Department. But after last night and her first real opportunity, she is going to prove to be, and maybe has already, a very valuable asset and investment.
She originally came from K9 Working Dogs International. She's imported from Europe as a puppy, and she's been training for the last 16, 17 months of her life until we got her. Me and her traveled down to Louisiana, and we certified in over 7 illegal narcotics for her detection and human tracking. Utilized properly, she's going to be a great tool for our community. She does a free air sniff to detect illegal narcotics in vehicles. She can track missing people, runaway suspects. She can do a little bit of everything.
Proven last night after a traffic stop, one that was originally initiated by Officer Deputy Eugene Salyer for multiple traffic violations on a vehicle traveling on Oakley Road. He stopped that vehicle for those violations, blue lights, and that traffic stop later, the suspect stopped and got out of the vehicle and started going in the opposite direction.
When I made the stop, the subject got out of his vehicle. He was walking toward a residence. I yelled at the subject to stop. He then stopped and turned and looked at me and started walking over toward me. At that time, Deputy Neil Watson arrived on scene. We talked to the subject. Subject advises he did not have any insurance, and he also didn't have any driver's license. Once he was run through Magafa 911, they advised he was DUI suspended.
And during questioning, he denied having any illegal substances on him or in his vehicle. He was arrested for driving on a suspended license related to prior DUI. And at that time, Deputy Salyer requested Magafa County's new K-9 unit, Nitra, who immediately hit on the driver's side door.
Last night we deployed her on a traffic stop that Deputy Eugene Salyer had, performed a free air sniff of the vehicle in which she did alert, give us probable cause to search, and upon the search we did find over 4 ounces of methamphetamine on her first deployment. She's got many years to come. She's got a lot that she can do and offer us. Without her, we wouldn't have found it. He would not have consented to a search of the vehicle. With her probable cause alert, it was free game for us to search.
After Nitra immediately fixated on the driver's side door area, Deputy Watson was able to pop the dashboard out and look behind it. Up underneath the dash, he found a black hair clipper container and a large Maglite flashlight up under the dash. In the flashlight, about 83 grams of what is believed to be methamphetamine. Inside the case, another 20 grams of methamphetamine, set of digital scales with residue on them, about 8 grams or a little more of marijuana, as well as several used syringes, and they also found a small bag of what is believed to be heroin that had been shoved between the rear seats. Arrested for those ounces of methamphetamine, a quantity of heroin, marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and also facing other traffic-related charges for driving on a DUI suspended license, no insurance, no registration, and others, was 56-year-old Daniel Jackson of Salyersville. He is still lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center at this hour. The picture you see here is a debris field, if you will. Items as well as the driver of this pickup truck ejected early this Friday morning. Call coming into Magafa County 911, a private call that an accident had happened on Oakley Road. The Magafa County Rescue Squad and EMS and law enforcement arrived to find this vehicle had overturned. The driver, again, was confirmed to have been ejected. He was transported by ambulance by ground to an area hospital for the severity of his injuries. As I understand, the driver was reportedly on his way to work. The vehicle overturned numerous times. He suffered serious internal injuries and was later airlifted or transported to the University of Kentucky Hospital for a variety of broken bones and other internal damage. An early Friday morning arrest as well, making headlines tonight. A man charged with resisting, menacing, fleeing, or evading police on foot, as well as terroristic threatening in the first degree. This after deputies with the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department were contacted by a person on the right-hand fork of Oakley that a man by the name of Wesley Reisner had reportedly opened the front door of their home and just walked in, then pushing him back out the door and locking it behind them, or behind him. The officer says that he questioned the homeowner for a while, and throughout the investigation went to a family member's residence of the suspect, where they were explained, that being the officers, that he was home but that he was sick and needed an ambulance to be called, which officers did. Wesley Reisner is said to have walked outside, spoke to officers claiming to have been sick and needing medical attention. They then went back inside the residence waiting for EMS, where he claimed to be sick and was going to the bathroom, locked the door behind him, and after a few moments, officers heard a loud thump and realized that he had opened the window, which was 6 to 7 feet off the ground, and jumped out the window. They then walked around the back of the residence and conducted a search. Officers then, realizing he indeed was not sick but was trying to elude them because he was sought after for arrest for a warrant out of Wolfe County. He then became combative with EMS and law enforcement, threatening all, and was jailed in the Big Sandy. Also, very early this Friday morning, a traffic stop and another successful hit for Nitra, the new McGoffin County Sheriff's Office K-9, just focused on a few moments ago. Deputy Neil Watson was on patrol in the Mountain Parkway last night. He and other officers observed a pickup truck with violating several traffic laws, and it was pulled over. And upon a check, they found out that the driver, Earl Bradley Bevins of Betsy Lane, was driving on a suspended license. K-9 Nitra was present and did an open-air sniff around the perimeter of the vehicle and hit on the vehicle with a positive narcotic signal and a search of the vehicle. Specifically, underneath the armrest was hidden an eyeglass case, and inside they found a quantity of methamphetamine, a glass pipe, a set of digital scales, and other drug paraphernalia in the vehicle. Bevins is so far charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of various items of drug paraphernalia, several traffic violations, including driving on a suspended license. Trips to the Bahamas, cruises to the Bahamas are pretty popular. A lot of folks that I know have taken them. I myself have taken one with the kids several years ago. Would like to go back. Don't see it happening. Nevertheless, going to the Bahamas is something that a lot of folks can get the opportunity to do. There is now, however, and you may have seen it, if you haven't, go to other national sources. It's largely out there, and you can find out the story in its entirety. I know that they were on Good Morning America today. I know that a lot of other national publications have as well focused on the story of two Kentucky women, both mothers, who were drugged and raped, they allege, at a very popular tourist spot while taking a trip to the Bahamas just recently. Yeah, they came back from what was to be a dream vacation, experiencing a nightmare. Amber Shearer, Dongela Dobson, lifelong friends as they describe each other, claim they were drugged and sexually assaulted when they stopped on Grand Bahama Island during a carnival cruise. They sipped on some cocktails from a resort while they were at Grand Bahama Island, and then went out to the beach to get some seashells to take back for their kids. And they've been telling reporters that after the very first drink, they knew something was wrong. It didn't taste right. They didn't feel right, most importantly. And that was kind of the last thing they remember. But they did recall a few vague descriptions of the workers, they say, who were a part of the Freeport Resort staff allegedly sexually assaulting the two. With a brief description of their face and some other things that they told police. Toxicology results have come back from their blood. It showed a mixture of drugs in their system similar to date rape drugs that are used in just such cases. The Royal Bahama Police are involved. They also say they've arrested two men, 140, 154, in connection with the alleged sexual assault. Still much more news to come right now. Tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau calendar. Before we go on to our birthday announcements and the rest of your calendar, an important one this evening from the, of course, McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center and Marlene Howard. Commodities this month are falling on the 13th due to the calendar and the Thursday of the month that the commodities are usually given out. Commodities are happening a little earlier than usual, so commodities next Thursday the 15th, which, by the way, is the day after, of course, Valentine's Day. Just, friendly little reminder. But back to the commodities, all clients need to do a new application, and you have to submit your household income. And to the right, you'll see the God's Pantry Food Bank household income guidelines for USDA commodities. Based on a 130% poverty income guideline, a household size of 1 can have up to $1,632 a month of income, all the way up to 8 with $5,712. Thereafter, there's an additional $583 per additional family member. So with that said, commodities next Thursday at the McGoffin County Senior Citizens, and everyone needs to do a new application for the year and submit your household income information. Now on to the calendar with 3 special birthday wishes that I am privileged to get to make tonight because I know all of these lovely ladies. I've had the honor and privilege of meeting Miss Stella Holbrook here on a couple of occasions. I know some of her family, and I'm also very privileged to say that she is a faithful viewer of the show. And she turned 83 yesterday, and it's belated birthday wishes tonight because I had some problems with the show last evening. So Stella, forgive me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you had the very happiest of birthdays. Happy 83rd birthday to you, Stella Holbrook. Happy birthday to you. Another lady that I've known for a while, Miss Patricia King Patrick, celebrating her birthday this Sunday. So we're going to get it in here tonight. The happiest of birthdays to Patricia King Patrick, your family, a long list of friends, and of course, we wish to chime in on that as well. And I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful birthday, or I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday weekend. Again, Patricia's birthday on Sunday. And I've had the honor of wishing this lovely lady a happy birthday for a number of years, not close to her 102, that she'll be celebrating this Saturday, tomorrow, February the 10th, but nonetheless, a very special and happy birthday wish to 102-year-old Miss Maxie Powers from your church family, your friends, from myself and everyone here at YourNewsToday and the Independent Maxie, the happiest of birthdays to you. Absolutely, indeed. With that said, a quick reminder, and I'll close out the calendar. The Water into Wine Food Pantry will have their next regular distribution coming up a week from this Wednesday on the 21st, and their Senior Commodity Day will be the 22nd, that following Thursday, 9 to 11 for both occasions. And when you have special birthdays or anniversaries or important announcements from your church, group, club, organization, what have you, I think everyone knows, but just in case you haven't heard me say it, over the past 25 years of counting, this is how you get them on the show. If you want to print it in the Independent, that email at the bottom of your screen, well, that's just exactly how you do it. Send them to Heather at SagersvilleIndependent.com. And in tonight's obituaries, a reminder, services are set to start tomorrow, Saturday at 1, for 75-year-old Paul Edward Robbins, Snowball Robbins of West Liberty, but formerly of Sagersville, who passed away Wednesday. The son of the late Millard Franklin and Nanny Daniels Robbins. He's survived by his daughters, Michelle Huddle, Rebecca Robbins, and Christy Wright, his son Paul Wayne Robbins Jr., his brothers John, George, and Jim Robbins, sisters Betty, Stacy, Phyllis Howard, and Louise Goodpasture, 10 grandkids, and 3 great-grandkids. Paul Edward is preceded in death by his wife, Marie Robbins, a sister, Janice Sue Arnott, and her husband, David Arnott. Services again Saturday at 1 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home Chapel. Visitation this evening until 9. An arrangement still incomplete at this hour, but can be found in more detail on the website of the Sagersville Funeral Home when they are released for 51-year-old Jonathan Morrison, a resident of Stanton who passed away Tuesday of this week. Again, services being arranged under the care and direction of the Sagersville Funeral Home, but incomplete at this hour. Sagersville National Bank hopes to help you start the new year with financial freedom and peace of mind. From new services like Apple and Google Pay with your debit card to their more than a century of being dedicated to being your personal or business banking institution, they're here for you with digital, phone, or in-person banking at both locations. Regardless of what season it is, you can always find fan favorites of the Ville, Salyersville, at the seasonal shop. For the dudes, Duke and Cannon, Turn Rows, and more. And always something for all the Hornet fans. And for all the ladies, it's always Wildcat season, and it all changes daily. That's why you always have to make a stop at the seasonal shop just next door to Fraser's Prater Drug Store. The best place for all your prescription, over-the-counter, and Radio Shack needs, with some of the very best hometown lunch specials and treats. They're a pair like you can find nowhere else but in Salyersville. They're where every day starts, it's made, and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of...
Platinum award-winning singer-songwriter Chris Jansen is coming to the MAC, and he'll be playing hits such as Buy Me a Boat.
But it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull me.
Fix a Drink.
But I can fix a drink.
And one of his most recent hits, Good Vibe.
Cooked cabbage is back at your Sagersville Lee's, and so is the low-carb plate. I mean, yes, you can call it a low-carb plate because it is. There's barely any carbs in it, but it's also one of the tastiest meals we've got. And the healthiest, low-carb or not, with juicy roast strips, our famous green beans, and yes, that tasty cooked cabbage. A taste and flavor all its own, and only at your Sagersville Lee's. In a Hornet basketball update, the boys hosted Ashland Blazer, the second-seeded team right now in the 16th region, Ashland Blazer Tomcats, on Wednesday night. And I got there as Xander Carter piled two more onto a 14-point lead with 1:20 left to go. Goffin County was down just 4 at the half. They led at one point at least by 10. And even with a lot of hometown support in the stands, and even with Ethan Sayers' rebound and a hurl to Zane Whitaker for the slam. It was a thrilling shot, but it just wasn't enough to add up and cover the deficit. And the Hornets have lost 2 in a row now, 3 losses out of their last 5. That puts them at 11-11, even on the season. Still a lot of basketball left. And tonight, of course, well, you're either not going if you're catching the 6 o'clock show, probably, or if you're catching the late show, maybe you're already been there and back. But the Hornets and Lady Hornets were both in a doubleheader at Paintsville tonight, and I do not have any information on that, of course, as of now. We'll talk about that on Monday's program as we're staring down the last few games of regular season high school basketball. Hard to imagine. Now let's talk about what's in store. Some changes are on the way. Significant, not all that dramatic yet, but all eyes are on a change back to an appropriate, calendar-wise, winter weather pattern. Another day in the 60s for the first half of your weekend, albeit a breezy Saturday. Now that will follow a low tonight of around 54 degrees. We're not falling very far after we topped out in the mid-60s today. And breezy across the board tonight. Tomorrow, certainly again, a 25-mile-per-hour gust. Shower chances as well, as you can see during the overnight. Technically after 3 or 4 in the a.m. right now looks to be the time frame. And 64 degrees for your Saturday. Breezy again, like I said, 10 to 25 mile per hour winds and an 80% chance of showers. Right now we're calling for a tenth to a quarter of an inch during the day on Saturday, and a little less than that during the course of Saturday night, where we'll fall down to about 46 degrees, and then we'll fall from thereafter temperature-wise down to 56 on your Sunday. Maybe a 30% chance of some showers lingering up until like 8 o'clock or so Sunday morning. Otherwise, we'll see a mostly cloudy and dry day, but showers roll back in late Sunday night, a 70% shot after 11, so a bit of a break. We're just transitioning from one system to another, and we'll see a few clouds and a few little dry patch on Sunday in between. Monday, showers, continuing 80% chance of showers, and then them as well being likely on and off throughout the day and overnight, and we could see them change over to some snow with a low of 28. Tuesday, some moisture lingering into the early morning hours, maybe a 20% chance of some snow showers, some flakes before 11 or noon or so on your Tuesday. We'll only hit about 46 for the high and back down to 24 that night. We will see some sunshine after some flurries, I think, early. Wednesday, we'll hit the upper 40s, mostly sunny. Snow chances again late Wednesday night as the next round of precipitation rolls in. Yes, it's a whiplash event, if you will, a break in between and just one after another. Nevertheless, a 30% chance of snow late on your Wednesday, a low of 23. Thursday and Friday will hover right around the same mark, 49, 50 degrees. Nighttime lows about half that. Breezy conditions, a decent 30 to 40% chance of rain and or snow across the board. And that will wrap it up for tonight and for this week. And I look forward to, after what I hope is a wonderful, restful, joyful, whatever you want this weekend to be ahead, to see you back here next Monday for the next edition of Your News Today, of course, which will be the Monday before Valentine's Day on Wednesday. Guys, just trying to keep you reminded. Good night.